you.
You're welcome.
Today.
Not a problem.
It's exciting to be able to be here in your beautiful Oregon sanctuary where you live, kind of sheltered away from the world. Love your green tree behind you. We're here to chat with you about neurocare and the treatments that you've been providing to your son Matthew.
Okay.
Now, can you tell us about Matthew's condition?
Well, Matthew was diagnosed at age 6 with ADHD and being legally blind in his right eye. He, at that point, was throwing scissors at teachers and chairs and pencils, and every time he was told to sit down and do work or anything, he'd just get violent. And so they did a study and determined he had ADHD, and he started taking medication then. He started out taking Strattera, and he took that for 1.5 years. And while it was, Matthew, come back, pal. It helped for a while, but then the medication wouldn't work anymore, and we switched to Ritalin. And while the Ritalin was in his system, he was great, but as soon as it wore out, he became extremely violent for a couple of hours at a time, where he would kick and scream and bite and throw things and scream, "I hate you," and talk about killing himself. And so we took him off of the Ritalin and put him on Concerta, which, while it was in his system, was great, and then he would have the same violent issues. So then Tom called and said he just really felt that he needed to contact us about neurocare, and so we started that, and I took him off of the Concerta, and he's been off of it for 3 weeks now, and we don't have any of the violent behavior anymore. And his teacher at school says he's doing great. The first few days, about the first week, she had to ask him to refocus several times, but he was still doing fine with his work. He just wasn't, he'd lose his focus in the afternoon, and I haven't heard anything in the last week about any problems at school, and he's doing great here at home too.
What's the teacher's response to, have they remarked to you that they're surprised? Have they asked you what's going on with Matthew? Have they noticed that he's calmer in class?
They notice he's calmer, and I actually warned her when I took her off the medication that we didn't know how he would be behaving at school. So just to give her a heads up, and she's just amazed that he's not on medication.
So when you took Matthew off the medication, when you started treating Matthew with the cranial stimulator, tell us how you began treating him.
At bedtime, I put the little things on his ears
ear clips
on his ears for 40 minutes.
Was he asleep during the first treatment?
He was asleep.
Okay. And yet, did you see benefits from that, even though he was asleep when you started treating him?
Oh, definitely. Within 2 days, I could tell a difference.
So it helped to be able to treat him while he was sleeping because he might not have tolerated the treatment?
That's exactly right. He wouldn't have, because he doesn't like anything on it touching his ears or anything, and so but now I put it on when he's awake, and he doesn't care about it. He'll tell me if it hurts, and then we'll just back off, and then as soon as he goes to sleep, I turn it up full.
So you turn on the cranial stimulator.
I turn on the cranial stimulator.
What frequency do you use?
80.
80? Mm-hmm. And you just simply hook him up for 40 minutes, and you pull it off. And what kind of effects have you noticed, and how quickly did you notice them? Were they immediate after the first treatment or first few treatments?
Yeah, it was about the second day I noticed. In the evenings especially, he's still calm, because that's when he's wild.
He would usually get wild.
Every evening. And homework was something that we just couldn't even do.
Now, you didn't take him off the medications right away?
I took him off the medications immediately.
Immediately?
Yes.
Before the first treatment?
He took the last pill on Sunday morning, and Sunday night he got the first treatment.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And so you noticed a totally different personality.
Yes,
in him,
I did.
Calming. And how long has he been off the medication now? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. And the teachers are reporting that he's calm in class?
Calm in class.
Are they surprised?
They're surprised.
Did you tell them that you were taking him off the med?
I told them. I told him I was taking.
Why was he put on the meds in the first place?
Because he couldn't focus on anything for more than a minute to a minute and a half.
So how's his focus now that he's off the meds and he's on NeuroCare?
No problems. He focuses just fine.
That's remarkable. Are you shocked?
I am. I love it because I hated the medications. I didn't like the effects.
There's no med without a side effect.
Yeah.
And the idea that he has to live the rest of his life on a drug must be kind of concerning.
It's very concerning. It's concerning. His birth mother, he's adopted, and his birth mother used drugs all through the pregnancy.
Ah, so you think that had something to do with kind of like fetal alcohol syndrome,
right,
in a strain. Did she drink as well?
She drank and used meth all through the pregnancy until the 8th month.
So this had to have some kind of effect on the bath of chemicals that washes the brain and all of these things that have to happen in proper development.
Exactly.
And so there's some residual impact in his life now.
Yes.
So this is interesting. So you still treat him 40 minutes a day, every day at bedtime?
At bedtime.
That's it?
That's it. Put him on at 8 o'clock for 40 minutes. Actually, we cut him back to 20 minutes.
Matthew, how are you?
Yeah, on Sunday we cut him back to 20 minutes. And he's still fine.
What did you talk to the psychiatrist or the who is it that put him on the meds in the first place?
His pediatrician put him on
the meds. His pediatrician. Have you notified the pediatrician that?
I have not yet.
What the status is?
He's due for a meds check next week.
Won't that pediatrician be shocked?
Yes, he will.
Does he have any other doctors that he's involved with that have been notified that he's
Yes, he has a psychologist that he sees every 2 weeks at Lincoln County Mental Health. And when I told her that I'd taken him off the medication and what I was doing, she couldn't believe the difference in him in her office, for starters, because he normally would go in and climb under a chair, and he walked in and sat down and engaged her. And I told her, I said, I've taken him off the medications and he's using this machine. And I showed her the machine. And she had never heard of it, was very concerned about it until at the end of the appointment she says, well, I can't condone you using this, but I'd like to invest in it. And then she was going to go on the internet and
we can help her with her concern. Let me say that how you've mentioned that it has improved his focus considerably. What do you base that claim on?
Because he can sit down and do his homework. He can sit down and watch a half-hour TV program and not get up and run around or anything. Those are probably the two main big ones, that he can actually do something for longer than a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
As a mother hoping for a normal life for her child, can you tell me how this feels in your heart?
Oh, this is wonderful because he's in the evening especially. He's so he gets violent and it's so hard to deal with him. And I know it's not because it's anything that he's doing on purpose. And so with this treatment, he's not like that. His personality has changed, and he's much more loving and caring, and
the real
Matthew's coming out, exactly.
What a blessing.
It is. It's a tremendous blessing. Because he's such a loving kid, and he always has been, but it's gotten worse and worse and worse, his behavior.
There's going to be people who hear this who are almost afraid to hope. They'll think, oh, well, she's being paid, or there's some economic interest going on here.
I'm not getting anything for this.
Can you share with them from your heart?
Oh, definitely. That's I already, he had been on the machine for a week when I talked to his counselor. And I said, I know that you may not like this, but the difference in him is phenomenal, and I don't care because it's working for him.
Did you have concerns about the long-term negative effects of the drugs?
I did have concerns because because he had been exposed to drugs in the womb. We really had no clue how they would affect him, and I didn't ever really want to put him on meds, but at the point that at school we had to, there didn't seem any other option.
Did the school require it just to keep order in the classroom?
They required we do something. Mm-hmm. They requested the testing,
and now they're not requiring it because he doesn't need to be restrained.
Exactly.
He's learning. He's contributing. He's not disrupting the
He's
classroom
not
environment.
he's not, and he gets along great with his fellow students, which he had not been.
Phenomenal. Well, Garnet, we sure appreciate you sharing, and thank you so much for being willing to talk, and share these, personally impacting conditions in your family. We're proud of you, and you're in our prayers, and we're so thrilled. We're happy. We're
Thank
celebrating with you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.